On our previous episode, our riders chased the fading light across the plains, riding the sunset until the day finally gave in. And when morning came, they found themselves in a place that felt almost like paradise. A peaceful farm resort where time moves gently. Then they set out for the day they had traveled so far for, passing endless carpets of yellow, green, and a glimpse of rural life. All this ride for a wedding in the plains. And now, a new day begins. Out here in the vast plains, the landscape unfolds in shades of green. Rice fields stretch across the land. Somewhere within this beautiful landscape, our riders cruise on. They pass through a small town where banderitas hang across the streets, colorful flags shifting gently in the wind, marking a special community event, usually a fiesta, often honoring a town's patron saint. And beyond it, the landscape opens once again. Green rice fields spread across the land, forming a continuous, flowing scene. Our riders move through it, carried forward by the road. Our riders continue across the fields of green, moving quietly through the farmlands. It is a landscape unfamiliar to them. In the mountains where they came from, the land is shaped by diversity. Vegetables, mixed crops, and varied vegetation across the terrain. But here, the fields carry a different identity. Uniform, continuous, rice fields stretching across the plains. On both sides of the road, they stretch out like a green exhale, as far as the eye can see. This province feeds the nation, and it knows it. The riders say nothing for a while, because sometimes even the most intrepid explorer knows when to be quiet and let the plains do the talking. The road goes on forever, and so does the boredom. On either side, houses stand in perfect formation. Life here is an open-air theatre, and everyone has a front row seat. The road leads them to a bridge. It sits high above the river below. The river, unbothered, reflects the sky perfectly. They roll off the bridge, back to the plains. The fields appear again, but these fields look tired. Summer has arrived. The soil has cracked open like an old man's knuckles. The grass has given up entirely. The straight road continues its straight opinions. Our riders come across a tricycle ahead, puttering along at its own sacred pace. Tricycles have been woven into Philippine culture. They navigate narrow streets and rural pathways where larger vehicles simply cannot go. Town after town, road after road. The riders weave past yet another one, puttering along at its own sovereign pace. As they cross more towns, the riders notice colorful banderitas dancing above the streets. Small, colorful flags fluttering in the wind, proudly announcing that something joyful is either happening or about to happen. You see, the Philippines has a festival for practically everything. Patron saints, harvests, history, and community pride. The tradition comes from centuries of Spanish influence. When towns honored their patron saints with church feasts and community gatherings, Over time, Filipinos added music, dancing, parades, games, and the best of all, food. The riders continue on their journey. Tree after tree passes by, then house after house, then another small town that feels gently borrowed from the last. It is mid-afternoon, and the weather, for once, chooses cooperation. The sky remains a clear blue canvas, scattered with soft, curling clouds that resemble grazing sheep. Today, they are heading home. But in the Philippines, even the journey back refuses to be ordinary. They savor the long and open roads while they can. Because back in the mountains, such generosity of space does not exist. There, every meter is earned through curves, climbs, and careful negotiation with the terrain. Here, the ride is different. They glide more than they wrestle. They observe more than they react. More straight roads appear. Scenes of simplicity unfold. Fields, quiet homes, slow-moving days shaped by routine and sunlight. This is the pace of the province, where time stretches just a little longer than expected. Another bridge appears, and with it another river doing its ancient, unhurried work. The landscape rolls past like pages of a book nobody wrote down, but everyone knows by heart. They have been riding all afternoon beneath the weight of the summer sun. Long bridges carry them from one stretch of land to another. But now, the light begins to change. The golden hour arrives quietly, as it always does. The sun lowers beside them, no longer above, but watching from the horizon like a patient companion. So they begin to search. Eyes scanning the roadside, hoping for a place that feels right. Not too crowded and not too loud. Just enough to pause the day. And then, along a bypass road, standing quietly apart from the rush of the city, a wooden cafe appears. Like a cabin in the woods that somehow wandered into an urban landscape and decided to stay. A place to rest. A place to watch the sky turn gold. They leave the quiet comfort of the wooden cafe, golden light still lingering in their eyes. The sun has dipped, and with it, a new kind of energy begins to rise. Now comes a familiar question at the end of every long ride. What to eat, and where to find it. In a place filled with choices, they follow a simple rule. Go where the locals go, and trust the crowd. The night market beside Magic Mall, an open-air market dedicated entirely to leisurely strolling, eating. The riders join the crowd, disappearing into the warm, smoky, beautiful chaos. And so the day closes its eyes slowly, as all good days in the Philippines eventually do. It began with 2 riders and an open road. It ended with full stomachs and the warm glow of 100 streetlights. Hit subscribe, because you do not want to miss what happens next. The road ahead is very much worth following.
Is it deep enough? to risk it.